following sentence is going to sound like hyperbole. It's not. There is no one in the sustainability world by whom I am more inspired or excited than this man. Please welcome retired Marine Corps Colonel Mark Puck Mykelby.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Phil. Hey, thanks for having me here. I appreciate it. I wonder if we got, what, slides or something? Do I do? Hey, there's the clicker. Good job. Hey, I got about 10 minutes to talk about the universe, so here we go. I always want to point out, this is one of my favorite lines of all time. 1776, Thomas Paine cranks out a little pamphlet called Common Sense. And this line right on the very first page, the cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind. I mean, holy cow, that's cool. Well, in 1776, Tom, if I can be so bold, call him Tom, was talking about self-determination. What a remarkable idea, right? Well, right now, I'm kind of sitting around, I just want to look outside the window here in the 21st century, the year 2013. I mean, what the hell is our cause in America today? If anybody can answer the question, I'd sure like to hear it, because after a quarter of a century plus in uniform, I've yet to be able to figure it out. And that's a problem, because to me, the only thing that I see happening in America right now is we are focused on being the source of status quo. We are the agents of status quo, and that scares the hell out of me. It scares the hell out of me because we know in any ecology, the only thing that subscribes the logic of status quo is a monoculture, and monocultures wither and die. And that is why we have to come to grips with this little idea of grand strategy, because grand strategy is the only thing in this nation, the only organizing logic, the only discipline that's going to allow us to address what a cause of America ought to be in the 21st century. And at least I think that was what the sense was of Admiral Mullen when he asked me and the Navy Captain Wayne Porter, when he was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in July of 2013, to consider this idea of grand strategy. Now, I sure as hell don't know what Admiral Mullen wanted us to do, but this is what we gave him. We wrote a paper. It was called the National Strategic Narrative. I don't know what that really means, but it was a national strategic narrative. It wasn't a grand strategy per se, but the bottom line is when Wayne and I sat down, and mind you, I'm a Marine Colonel, this is a Navy Captain. I mean, we're apolitical. We don't have a dog in the fight. We're not greenies. We're not anything. We were just told to do a job, so we sat down and frickin' did it, right? In a national strategic narrative, basically we said, we have got to shed this manic focus on threat and risk that informs our nation's activities today. We have got to refine this, this DNA in America of opportunity, that we pursue opportunity. I mean, after all, we're supposed to be the stinking land of opportunity. We're not the land of threat and risk. And so in this document, we said we've got to find a way to shed the constructs cognitively, organizationally, that we still have on life support that worked for us so well in the 20th century, particularly in the Cold War, those constructs of containment that leverage force and power. And we've got to come to something else that allows us to deal with the world as it really is, as an open system, as what Wayne and I called it, a strategic ecology. And how are we going to be the best competitor and the best contributor in that global ecology? And we said this one concept kept coming back to us. It was the concept of sustainability. Yeah, I said it. Marine said sustainability. Forgive me, please, all right? But sustainability could become the organizing logic, the national strategic imperative for this country. And it's not just because it's fluff, it's because it frickin' works. When you look at the concept of sustainability, particularly the ecological definition of sustainability, it maps directly to our enduring national interests of prosperity and security. I mean, look at it. It's, the definition, the one that we used, was an organism's ability to remain diverse and productive over time. Diversity, depth, redundancy, resilience. Guess what? That's national security 21st century style. And if you're of the ilk, you say, well, you're going to send weirdos like me in funny green tree suits out and abroad from the shores outward to keep the bad guys away, get over it. Because there's no keeping the bad crap away. There's not enough bubble wrap in the world to wrap around every American's head to keep him safe, all right? There just isn't. We have got to toughen up as a nation, because I don't care if it's a hurricane, I don't care if it's Al-Qaeda. Something's going to happen. We're going to skin our knee. We're going to, well, used to have hair. You get your hair mussed up, all right? Resilience, depth, redundancy. That's national security 21st century style. But also in the terms of prosperity, we got to come to grips with the fact that we're talking about productivity in that definition. But we're really talking about is growth. We've got to stop defining our growth in quantitative terms, because I'm here to tell you that's not working for us either if you consider our physical condition as Americans, 1/3 of our nation being clinically obese, our fiscal condition, our economic condition, our environmental condition, our social condition, our political condition. The quantitative measurements of growth are not working for us. Maybe we could learn a little something from a small country called Bhutan and start getting to a place of gross national happiness. Yeah, I said another unmarine word, happiness, right? But we can start talking about qualitative growth and inform a new type of economy, a new type of structure for this nation that we can lead the rest of the world towards a more positive, opportunities-based future. But guess what? Sustainability is just not about our enduring national interests. It also maps to our quintessentially unique American way of doing grand strategy. We stand on our economy. We let our economy do the heavy lifting, and we align our governing institutions and our foreign policy to take on the big global challenge of the age. We've done it in our past. We did it in World War II. We were the arsenal of democracy. We did it during the Cold War, during containment, where we set up a contest of economic and political systems. We took the Soviets on. We contained them, but we allowed them to collapse based on their own contradictions. It worked. All right? It's not working for us now. It's time to change the game. And fundamentally, because we are so focused on threat and risk, we keep trying to figure out where can we play stratego and point our fingers on a map to point at the bad guy that we can, do something about, have that sense of control. Well, guess what? Our big challenge today is not on the map. It's right here. It's around us. It's on this little pill floating around out in the universe. It's global unsustainability. We have fundamentally, by the middle of the century, not only do we have to fold in 9 billion people into the world, we've got to fold in 3 billion people in the global middle class, and when they arrive, that's a 300% increase in resource consumption. Which leads us to the next part of which is the big challenge, is that we are depleting the ecosystem at a rate that we've never seen before. We just don't have enough shit in the world to support what we're doing, right? Just come to grips with that. And oh, by the way, right now, we're just not in a little recession thing. We're in a contained depression. We are at a fundamental deleveraging point as big as what happened in 1929. Come to grips with it. We've got to redesign anew because the system that we have right now, which is the fourth pillar of this global unsustainability issue, is the fact that we're in a resilience deficit. All the systems we have, they may be hyper-efficient, goody gumdrops, but guess what? When those wrinkles start coming, particularly those that are going to be coming because of climate change, we don't have the capacity to deal with it. We need to design anew. And the cool thing about it, because we are frickin' Americans, is if we strap on those sustainability goggles, we can see an opportunities-based way out. We don't have to bury our heads in the sand or up our ass. We can do it with opportunity, economic opportunity, right? And if you put on those sustainability goggles, 3 things stand out. 3 big bins of demand that can create that economic engine for a 21st century revival, not only for the United States, but for the world. And that's around walkable communities, yes, housing. We just heard that just a couple minutes ago. Housing, regenerative agriculture, and a productivity revolution. And am I smoking crack? I don't know, maybe, but I don't think so. Walkable communities. Right now, we're sitting on a historic demographic convergence in the United States that we haven't seen in a long time, and that translates into the following numbers according to the National Association of Realtors. 56% of Americans don't like where they live. More specifically, 56% of Americans seek the attributes of smart growth. Mixed use, mixed income, service-rich, transit-oriented, walkable communities. That's because baby boomers, we have the biggest chunks of our demographics right now are converging in the marketplace. Baby boomers, downsizing. They don't want to be stuck in the suburbs anymore. Where the kids take away the keys, somebody shovels applesauce in their face. Nobody wants to live that way. They want to be someplace where they're connected, right? Geez, I want to, sorry, right? Yeah. And trust me, the millennials, they don't want to be there either. 56%. That equates to 3 times the level of demand than what we saw with the returning GIs post-World War II. Regenerative agriculture, according to the OECD, we need to increase food production by the middle of the century, 60%, and 100% of that has to be regenerative, just because of ecosystem limitations, 100%, right? That's a huge economic opportunity, particularly when you consider that the price of food is at an all-time high, right? And, oh, by the way, according to the Rodale Institute, per acre, regenerative agriculture is not only equivalent yields as our current system, it's also 3 times more profitable when you consider full externalities. And finally, productivity revolution. We've got to fundamentally reduce our resource intensity per unit GDP, and we have the technology to do it today. Advanced manufacturing, advanced materials, renewable energy. It's a historic opportunity. And oh, by the way, it's just not wonky fluff stuff. It translates right down to Main Street. That little chart at the bottom, that eye chart, that's just, if you put $1 into a sector of our GDP, how much bang for the buck do you get out in an ancillary economic activity? Well, guess what? Those 3 bins of demand, they translate to the highest bang for the buck that we got right now. Right now, our economy is pointed at the right-hand end of that spectrum with the retail, consumerism, and financial services. That's only 55 cents to 63 cents. If we capture that macro demand and put it on Main Street, you're capturing manufacturing, agriculture, construction, and transportation. That's where the economy is driven. That is where we take it to Main Street, and that's what makes sustainability powerful. But you've got to design to that end. I mean, there's no elf on a moonbeam that's just going to come down and make it happen, right? You got to design to it. And so that's why, you know, I always believe if you want a new idea, read an old book. So I went to Joel Mackauer's younger brother, this guy, Sir Ebenezer Howard, right? And he created this idea in 1902. I don't know how old Joel was in 1902, but I mean, he was that old then, right? But he came up with this idea called a garden city, and it's cool. It's a systems integration of all these functional systems as they combine together to make a society. And the title, you can't probably read it, but it says a group of slumless, smokeless cities. He's already thinking about the human condition, right? And it's an inclusive model, inclusivity, social equity. I said it again. I said unmarine words. But right there's things on there. He even has an insane asylum. He has a home for inebriates. I mean, I think this is cool design because now you know where you're going to recruit your Marines. They're right there. And the thing is we can dust that idea off and put it into play right now today with the concept that Patrick Doherty, wherever you are, raise your hand, the guy came up with the term of full spectrum sustainability for the work that we're doing. If you could take all these functional sectors of food, water, energy, built environment, transportation, put them together into a framework, an economic framework, closed-loop systems, if you will, and have a place where public, private, civil sector can converge, and most importantly, engage our citizens on Main Street. Now we're on to grand strategy. Now, some of you may say, that's utopian. That can possibly happen. Well, bullshit. It can happen. It is happening. It will happen. Second thing, if you call me utopian, when I was in the Pentagon, people used to say, you're utopian. You know, kind of got my shackles up as a Marine. That's kind of like, okay, let's go to the parking lot, figure this one out, kind of talk, right? But then I kind of said, you know what, I kind of like that. Because I finally got off my ass and looked up the word. You know, you do an etymological drill on utopia. There's two, you know, utopia, topos, place, right? Well, there's 2 ways you can spell the U part of utopia. You can spell it the OU way, or you can spell it an EU way in Greek. Well, the OU way is no place. The EU way is good place. It's a fundamental choice. What do we want to have? Holy shit, I want the EU type. I don't know about you. But as our Navajo friends remind us, you can't get to a good place in a bad way. We just got to fix our way. We'll get to that good place. We have the market forces to do it. And oh, by the way, yeah, utopian. I'm willing to bet that these cats that cranked out this document were a little bit utopian. And first of all, the first words that are up there, they say, we, the people of the United States. It doesn't say waiting on Washington. It says, we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, to ensure domestic tranquility, to provide for the common defense, to promote the general welfare, and most importantly, to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Posterity. It's not about here and now. It's about what we're going to do for our kids and our grandkids. And that's what makes sustainability so powerful. Because as Hubert Humphrey reminds us, the words in the preamble of the Constitution are action words. They don't allow you to sit on your ass and wait for somebody else to do it. We're citizens of the United States, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And if you don't want it to perish from this earth, we better get off our ass and get it on. Right? These words require constant action, constant vigilance, constant tending. Just like sustainability isn't an end state, it's a condition we're constantly going to have to strive for. Constantly. There is no end. But I can think of no other cause for America that subscribes to the finest and best traditions of this nation, that is more worthy of a cause for our children and our grandchildren. And most importantly, where we find this cause of sustainability in the United States, we truly, truly find the cause that in a complete measure will be the cause of all mankind. Thank you. Thanks.